So I have some words to say with no slides to distract you. 4 years ago, I started at OpenSearch at AWS. And one of the things I did was I went to talk to one of our researchers who specialized in tuning semantic models. And she told me that, and I asked her, so when should you use semantic models? When should you use BM25? And she said, well, BM25 is obsolete. Semantic models understand meaning. Why would you use obsolete technology? Okay, it's interesting. I then asked our salespeople to introduce me to people who wanted semantic systems, who wanted to buy neural systems. And I talked to them, and not one of them actually knew what that was, but they all wanted better search results. So the question is, are we all obsolete? Should we just be plugging in a model, doing embeddings, and doing KNN search? Are we done? And I think it's pretty clear that that's not the answer, partly because there's so many of us here. If it was so easy, there'd be no reason to be here. Trey's book could be 5 pages instead of being 500 pages. So what's going on here? Why is it obvious to some people that the semantic models are wonderful, and then not so obvious to other people who say, well, there's something going on here? Well, again, at my first week, actually, the first day I joined AWS, I met with my boss, and he said, so, what do you think about semantic techniques? And I said, I don't know. You have to measure it. You have to see what works. I don't know what works. Which was, in some ways, a way of avoiding taking a position, but I think I still believe that. I still believe that you should be measuring. And then I started thinking about this and started thinking, well, what do we mean by semantic models? And it turns out, if you look through the search literature, going back, I think at least 45 years, maybe 55 years, you start seeing people talking about semantic search through this whole period, starting in 1970. Now Greg Greffenstadt gave an interesting talk about this at the 2010 CIKM conference. So he had a bunch of slides, which I don't, and he showed, here we are in 1990. What did people mean by semantic search? They meant synonym expansion. What did they mean in 2000 by semantic search? They meant LSI, latent semantic indexing, and so on. This was before the current round of wonderful, fantastic, amazing techniques. I mean, there's no question that the techniques we have today are unbelievably powerful. And we're calling them semantic techniques. And many people seem to think that because they are semantic techniques, they must be better in all cases. And we know that that's not true. The other thing that I've noticed lately, so again, I joined AWS 4 years ago, and I thought, well, my job is to understand search and make sure that we're providing better tools for search and so on, as product manager for search. What I didn't understand was that there was a large cohort of people coming through our educational system, our industry, who believed unthinkingly, in some sense, they believed automatically that the semantic techniques were better than anything before. In fact, they didn't even know that the traditional information retrieval techniques existed. So the problem I have is that if we don't do anything about this, no one will want us in a couple of years. We know things that no one wants to know. I think we know things that are actually of value. I think we know some problems that need to be solved. I think we know some techniques that solve them. But with the current situation, you seem to have one cohort of people who learn about neural techniques through, I don't know where, AI conferences, tutorials by Quadrant. I don't know where they're getting this information, but they're not getting it from us. So my challenge to us as a community is, how do we better understand and integrate the the AI ML community so that they know about us as much as we know about them. I mean, we certainly know about them. We know about the techniques they're using. We're trying to apply them. They don't know about us. They don't know that we have knowledge that is valuable for doing better search. So that's all I have to say. But I think we have some room for discussion or not.
Over beer.
Over beer.
Over beer.
Fine. Over beer is a good place.
Because we're over time.
I'm over time. I'm
okay,
amazed.
but I think this is also a discussion that needs to be led, and I think will be a very long discussion. It's not more than likely. But I'm very thankful for asking that question to this audience. Thank you.